Hey, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your girl KP. You know what I do and you know why I do it. It is Friday. I just need to savor that for a moment. It's Friday. It's 3:25 and it's August 29th. I think I said 28th earlier. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and check, but I'm not correcting it. Now I know it's August 29th. Anywho, let me get into part 2 of this video. I was talking about basically being called a heretic. Nothing could be further from the truth. But I want to address it nonetheless. Most of us, myself, hear me good, included. Now, I'm now asking people to challenge what they've heard over the years, what they've embraced over the years, to find out if this is really accurate information. And I'm asking that based on just how information is disseminated and used for manipulation. Based on the context and the content of information delivered to the African American community or communities of color. Because absolutely a lot of what we hold on to one is a form of legalism, and I'm going to define that for you in a minute, and two, a tool for manipulation and control. But we call it religion, we call it tradition, we call it a whole lot of things, and we incorporate a lot of things that have absolutely nothing to do with the development of a personal theology. For instance, one of the, I want to say, traditions, the static, staid, very learned, very prim, proper, pulled up traditions is this move. As you duck out, you may be going to the restroom, or you just may be leaving the church altogether. But raise your finger and bow your head. Churches still do that today. Do you know what that raised finger is symbolic of? Massa, I'm leaving. I want you to keep count. That part. People don't know that. Slaves were required to notify their masters when they left the gathering because the master was sitting in on the service to make sure no talk of insurrection jumped off from that pulpit. Capitalism, manipulation, control. Know the historic context. These are the things I'm bringing up. Now, getting back to what I was starting to say, legalism. Let me read you the definition of legalism. This is taken from Google, but you'll recognize it as you hear it. Legalism refers to several distinct concepts, but primarily involves the strict adherence to a system of rules. Remember, I told you growing up in church, people had a list of everything that would send you to hell. Now, you want to preach a loving God, but you also want to preach a God with a level of condemnation that's basically a supreme being of you. You have a judgment for everything. I'm not saying there's not a place of punishment. I'm not saying there's not a cause and effect in place. That's a matter of science and physics. If I do this, then this will happen. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. Excuse me. I understand that. But I cannot understand how we embrace a concept of a punitive God. Again, I understand correction. I understand chastisement. And I understand that hell is a very real place. But what we don't seem to understand is that very real place is oftentimes created from the consequences of our choices, the consequences of our behaviors. That's what I want us to examine. You know, we like to project. The devil made me do it. No, you made a conscious decision. Oh, I got caught in a moment of weakness. You still had an opportunity to pump your brakes. So, stop blaming the devil for some things. Yes, there are dark spirits that move. I will attest to that as well. But again, there's a level of accountability. Let me get back to defining this again. Okay, legalism refers to several distinct concepts, but primarily involves the strict adherence to a system of rules, whether religious, philosophical, or political, to achieve a desired outcome. Whose desire? Think about that. The desired outcome for what? So, the desired outcome for what, and whose desire? Okay. In ancient China, it was a philosophy advocating for strict laws and punishment to control inherently selfish humans and ensure social order under a powerful government. That part. A strict set of rules to ensure social order. Again, social order for who? And then we get into the movement, that says, but I'm a good person. What is your standard of measure? See, it should be a standard of measure based on the behavior patterns of Christ. That part. That part. And see, I want to take us way back to Genesis and the creation of man and woman. Now, you can take that literal if you want. Okay? Man and woman were in a perfect environment initially, according to the story. In the center of this garden was the tree of life. You had everything you needed going on around you. You said, do not touch this tree. Why not touch the tree? Because here's the mind-boggling part. You don't touch the tree because you're going to go to a place that you're not prepared to go to. You don't have the skills to handle the information that you receive. Okay? Does that sound like some of your relationships? When there's a level of distrust about the information that you receive, so you go exploring, and then when you get to what you believe is the truth, it blows your mind. When you get the receipts, so to speak, you don't have the cash to take care of that balance due. I know I've had one of those relationships, and I can say it has repositioned my whole level of thinking, because in the outcome, I continue to want to project. In the outcome, I thought about seeking revenge. See, when the smoke cleared and I got the information that I was in denial about, because I saw it, right? But because all of me was involved in wanting that specific outcome, I ignored it. And like I said, when everything was said and done, I went to an even darker place. And I thank God, see, for the person that labeled me a heretic, I thank God for the intervention that said, remember who you said you were, based on the knowledge of me. And I stopped. I still bear the scars of that. And I want to say, for me, it's akin to Jacob wrestling with whatever spiritual being. I got my blessing, but it was rough. And every so often, I revisit that place. I have PTSD from it. Seriously. So, think about legalism. Think about manipulation. Think about what you're hoping the outcome will be. And think about the historical context of the information that you receive. Now, let the church, you and I, say amen.